take two.
Um,
Now tell me what really happened.
what happened? Well, growing up, we moved around an awful lot. My mother felt that it was cheaper to move than to paint, and that's how we moved. But being married to Grandpa Harry, I did move a couple of places too. We went to from Naden Avenue. We went to Hazel Place, and from Hazel Place we didn't own those places. But then from Hazel Place we went to Rutgers Street. We owned that, and then from Rutgers Street we moved to Torrential Court or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
We were only there a short while because Grandpa Harry his business had gone bankrupt. The Nightcraft had gone bankrupt and he was out of a job, and he decided to go to California to see what he could find out there. He went by himself, and when he came back he didn't find anything. Aunt Gertie was living out there by then, and Uncle Lou and Aunt Verna. And by then my mother had died. My father had died before. And
Did you see your father very much after they got divorced?
no, because he moved to California. He got divorced, and he married this other woman, Esther, who had about 6 or 7 husbands. Until this day, I say that she must have poisoned my father, because I didn't know. And he lived in California, so I didn't see much of him, no. And it didn't bother me that I didn't see him either. So, but my mother was sickly. My mother had a heart condition, and she finally, when she died in my house. It was a hot summer day. It was in August, actually August 14th. She died. Uncle Michael was not even 4 years old, but she adored him. She loved him, and she loved the other children too, but Michael was her favorite. And we sat Shiva in my house. We did everything in my house. I was the one responsible for everything. The parties, and then when they died, I was the one that took care of the graves. You know, it was always me. Even though I had 2 brothers, they didn't do nothing.
Yeah, I think you like it that way, though.
Well, it was an expense for me. So, in fact, I still take care of my father's grave. I don't have perpetual care for him, but we do have perpetual care for my mother and Grandpa Harry, and so I don't have to pay for them.
Mm-hmm.
So, nothing else. I mean, we moved from Rutgers Street. No, we moved to Edgemont Road, and there we had a beautiful house. But then things got bad. That was 1957,
Mm-hmm.
and things were rough. So we moved to Taranto Court. We lived upstairs from this terrible owner, and I say we didn't live there that long. And then we moved to Union. We also rented there, and unfortunately that's where he died, while we were living there.
Mm-hmm. And do you want to talk about that a little bit, or?
Well, he went out. It was the the 3rd of October, and he had opened up a business like 2 months or so before.
What kind of business?
Pajama and nightgowns, he was a manufacturer. He knew how to do that. He was very good with figures, though. And it was actually right during the riots of Newark.
Yikes.
Huh?
Yikes.
It was horrible. And we had the business, but we had just started out, and he had a partner. And I was working in the office there doing, little jobs. And he did a lot of work, buying and selling. And I say the business had just started, more or less. It was a new business. And that's when he was October, 3rd of October, it was right the night before Erev Rosh Hashanah. And I was busy making dinner for the Rosh Hashanah holiday. And Uncle Bill had called and asked him if he'd like to play cards with his group. And Grandpa Harry asked me if it was okay. I said, sure, go ahead. And he went out. He went to a house a few blocks from where I lived. And they were playing gin. And from what I was told, he complained of a terrible burning in his chest. And they called 911. And by the time they got there, he was gone. And then Uncle Vic came in. Ellen was just 2 weeks old. And Uncle Vic came. Uncle Vic lived in Livingston. We were in Union. And he came to the house, and I said, what are you doing here? He said that Uncle Bill had called him and said that Grandpa Harry was sick, and they were taking him to the hospital. But he was gone already, We got in the car. We went just as we got to the top of the hill, and I saw the ambulance down below, and I knew that it was too late. We got down there, and Uncle Bill met us, and he said they did everything they could to revive him, and they couldn't. That was the worst thing that ever happened to me. It was horrible. Just horrible. So, it's going to be 42 years. That's how old Ellen is. That Saturday before he died on a Tuesday night. Saturday, we babysat for Ellen because her cousin got married. Aunt Bet's cousin got married.
Mm-hmm. What was it like when Ellen was born?
She was a little pink and white bundle, like you were. She was a cute little baby. So were you.
Still pretty cute.
You are.
I do what I can.
And then I mean, when your mom and dad were getting married, I had little problems with your grandmother.
Everyone has little problems with my grandmother.
I don't know that I should mention all that.
What was it like when you met my mom?
Oh, I liked her a lot because I was very happy that he had been divorced from the other one.
No.
When he told me, when he came into Aunt Judy's house and I said, where's Lori? And he said, she's gone. I said, Mazel tov. I was so happy that she was gone because she was no good.
Was he okay?
Huh?
Was he okay?
He wasn't, no. He was upset because she had cleaned out the house. She left him, the dog greeted him at the door. She had left his clothes on the floor and cleaned out everything. She was not a nice person. And I was happy when he met your mom. I was very happy. I'm happy till this day because I really love her very much. God was good to me. God gave me 3 beautiful daughter-in-laws whom I adore. I really do. I love each and every one of them.
What a beautiful son-in-law.
Huh?
Uncle Rich will be mad if you don't talk about your beautiful son-in-law.
Well, Uncle Richard is a very good person, I must say. He's a very good person. And he's been very, very good to me. And as long as he's good to Aunt Judy, that's all I care about. I just feel he should have taken care of himself. He does not take care of himself. He doesn't eat properly. If he ate properly, it would be much better.
None of us,
Huh?
I don't know.
No, I mean, he's heavy.
He is.
And he went through a terrible thing in having that operation. He had the operation, which was very, very costly, but he never knew how to eat. The same way as Uncle Michael doesn't know how to eat either. And if Uncle Michael doesn't watch himself, he's going to get real big again too. So, not that I'm skinny, I'm not. But I normally watch what I eat. If I'll have a sandwich for lunch, I won't have a sandwich for dinner. I have a piece of chicken and a baked potato and a vegetable. That's my dinner. But I don't do any exercise.
Me either.
But you walk.
I could be doing more.
But you walk a lot. The walking is very, very good and very important.
It was really hard when I had trouble with my hip. So I couldn't
I think often
keep up with the city.
when I see it raining very hard and when it was snowing, I always think of you because I feel very badly that you have to walk and be in that kind of
It's
weather.
part of being in the city, and you learn. It's funny. I learned very quickly when I moved to the city how to pick your spot on the subway, pick which car you get in. So when you get out, the exit's right there, and you figure out which exit to go out, so you don't have to be outside that much. You learn very quickly how to live in the tunnels. Now it's different because I have the above ground subway, but you get the hang of it. It's not so bad.
The subway's expensive.
It's right now it's $81 for a monthly Metro card. It's unlimited.
Is that what you buy?
Yeah, I buy it monthly because I take the subway at least once a day, at least twice a day. So it's worth it. Pays for itself. They're raising it soon though. They're going to raise it to $103.
That's a lot of
It's
money.
an awful lot of money. It doesn't sound like a big difference, but $20 is a big difference to me.
I'm sure.
What else? What else?
There's nothing more on the papers there to ask.
No, but I was hoping you would have more. I don't know.
They're probably on more stories. I mean,
I'm sure there are. If you want to think of things.
I remember when Vic was just about 15 months old. Millie and Al Green. That was my friend.
Al Green? Not the famous Al Green.
No, just Al. His name was Al Green.
Okay.
He and Aunt Millie, we were always very good friends, and we decided to go to the mountains, and it was rational. There was time. It was shortly. They were rationing sugar and gas and all that stuff, and we had to have food stamps, and we wanted to go to the mountains. So Grandpa Harry said he would have to borrow the car from his boss, and we would drive with Aunt Millie, and she had Jeffrey. Jeffrey was a little older than Uncle Vic. So we said we would drive. Well, we only had enough gas. We got as far as Hoboken, and we ended up having to take the train. but I'm there with the potty seat and all the things for a baby. It was horrible, but we had a good time in the mountains. And then, as years went by, when the kids got older, we took a bungalow in the mountains. We went to the Fairmont Hotel. That was when Michael was
In
just
in the Catskills, or?
in the Catskills. And Judy was, they put on a show, and she was one of in the show. My cousin Betty went to, she lived there. My mother had a heart attack coming to visit me and ended up in the hospital there. So, but Uncle Michael used to love to put on my shoes.
And he still does.
I had red high heels. He would walk around. He was 2.5 years old, walking around with my shoes. And then when we didn't go to the mountains anymore, we went a couple of seasons. And we didn't go anymore. We joined the Cabana Club. And they had a daycare, and they had a swimming pool. You know where the Afton is?
Mm-hmm.
In back of there was the Cabana
Mm-hmm.
Club. And that's where we used to go. We used to go every day, sit there, and women used to play cards or mahjong, and the kids used to go in the daycare. We would be there and go in the pool. And then they had Saturday night, they always had a show. We would get all dressed up and go to the show. And Uncle Vic was a counselor there, and he was the tennis pro. And then they used to have a day where all the kids got dressed in costumes, and we dressed Uncle Mike in a skirt, and he wore a bra. He had
Uncle Mike is not going to be happy about this video.
he knows about it. He had a big skirt on, and he wore my shoes, and he wore a red bra. He wanted to know, should he go to the ladies' room to go or to the men's room? And your dad was dressed like an Indian, I think. He had videos of that too. I don't know who has the
Dad
videos.
probably has them somewhere.
Possibly. And
Questions about what they were all like as kids, what Aunt Judy was like as a kid.
And Judy was a tomboy. I remember her putting your dad in her baby carriage and then dump him over. She didn't like your dad.
She still doesn't like my dad.
Huh?
She still doesn't like my dad.
Yeah, she
Nobody likes
does.
my dad.
She does too. They all like together. Listen, this past Sunday when Uncle Vic was here, I was so happy. He asked Aunt Judy and Uncle Richard and your dad, your mom was in London, to have lunch with him. He had lunch with them. Not lunch, brunch. Breakfast, more or less.
It's sort of like lunch.
Yeah. They went to Epicessing.
Very nice.
And Uncle Vic complained about the prices. He was amazed how expensive it was. You know,
We have intense Epicessin product loyalty in this family.
What?
We have very intense product loyalty to Epicessin in this family. Go there for everything all the time.
It's expensive though.
Yeah.
It's gotten very, very expensive.
Food's expensive.
Would you like a peach?
I'm alright right now.
Huh?
I'm okay right now.
I have a pear, I have an apple.
I'm okay. Thank you though. I'll think about it. I'll keep it in mind.
I don't know if you could have any of this chocolate. This is
I
the
don't eat
dark
chocolate. I'm all set.
dark chocolate.
I don't eat chocolate. I'm okay. I try not to have sweets around very much.
This is still going.
Yeah. You want me to turn it off?
May as well.
Yeah.